believe Will's given up his soul to Zariel. For a father he fell out with ages ago. There's such a thing as being too good. Someone ought to tell Will Ravengard. I was hoping you'd say that. It's a good old life, isn't it?
Nice place you have here, little rabbit. Could use a few more trophies, perhaps. I'll keep this short or my absence will be noted. You need the Orphic Hammer, and I know where you need to look. The House of Hope, our mutual friend Raphael's abode. There's a Diabolist named Halsik in the lower city. Find her, and she'll take it from there. So I did. But even I'm not above a change of heart, if it keeps things interesting. I love a good hunt, and the best hunts keep things sporting. Besides, you freed me from the tune. Forget I was ever here, but remember what I said. See you around. Maybe.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome. I am free from my bonds, but not my duty. The dead 3 are risen. The dead 2 remain. You must face them. I will help. Our thoughts are as one, my friend. You must face the Chosen of Bane and Baal. I will do my part to see them laid low.
Keeping very well, I hope? Look after my angel, of course. She's been through more than I can bear to think about. 100 years in the Shadowfell. 100 years being murdered by Sharans over and over. It fills me with a rage I can hardly contain. She's a formidable woman, my Aelin. But no one could escape such horrors unscathed. She's in my hands now, and I intend to help her through whatever's to come. We'll both of us stand by you when the time comes to put down the horror that threatens this city. We are your allies. For life. I mourn the man I knew. He was wonderful. He raised me to serve Selûne as my mother, rest her soul, had wished. He was everything to me, all my life. When an emissary of Selûne came to our little town, we were elated. Dame Aelin, daughter of the Moon Maiden herself. This was different. It was like I could see my fate in her eyes. Lucky for me, she felt the same way. But my father was skeptical. Aelin is immortal, after all. I understand it's strange. There's an imbalance between us, certainly. But I suppose loving Aelin felt the same as loving myself. It was natural. Then... and this is where I still need answers. I died. I'm not sure how, why, but all was black. Next I knew, I was being jolted awake. I smelled musty air, I saw shadows. And then my father's face. So changed. So hideously warped. He told me we'd be together now. Said Aelin was dead. I couldn't speak. Could only run. I found last light within the shadows. Made a shelter there. Prayed my father wouldn't find me. By the time Jaheira came, I'd pieced together just enough to know I'd been dead 100 years. That my father was the source of the horrors that plagued my home. He's gone now. But I suppose the man I knew died when I died. The man he became... that wasn't the father I knew. The one I loved so very much.
I did not know Duke Ravengard that well. But I am sure he would not want his son to become slave to Zariel for his sake. I am sure Will knows that. But we would do well to remind him, when his days grow dark. No one truly understands the weight of loss until they've worn it a while. There is no shame in sharing the load when you need to. I have. And while I do not love my conclusion, that does nothing to change it. The Harpers are the city's best information network. With them out of action, we shall have to fall back on second best. Nine Fingers Keen.
A name known and feared throughout the city's underworld. The mysterious Keen runs the guild, which in turn runs every criminal enterprise in the city.
Nine Fingers is much more than a thief. Nothing happens in this city that she doesn't learn of sooner or later.
How hospitable she will be to a harper that comes begging to her guild hall, we will find out. Perhaps I will let you do the talking. Ask it. More than I would like. In my youth, I was a brief and very much unwilling member of a colony's hive mind. I felt the way they think, saw the world as they do. Foul, unnatural creatures who find the foulness in us and twist it to their will. But then, who am I speaking to? You have far more experience than I. I believe you. You remind me of another I knew, marked by forces beyond their control. The gods can grant power or strip it away, but so long as your will remains, you have the only weapon you need.
The devil Mizor has made herself quite at home, hasn't she? Do make her feel as unwelcome as you can. What about him? The historical slates describe Orpheus as a fearsome, terrible creature. Powerful beyond measure, and enthralled by the Gyatt. So mad with power, he'd smash through the Githyanki Empire and deliver the shards to his illithid masters. And glowing with such psionic force that he and his red dragon blazed a trail through the skies. A lethal comet careening towards my people. Lies, of course. Vlaakith spread a false image of Orpheus as monstrous betrayer, and her knights as the butchers who sliced him through. She was right to fear him, I'll grant her that. So great is the comet, it could shatter her reign. The Emperor may be loathsome, but it's right. Orpheus can disrupt a Gyatt hive mind. A talent like that makes the prince a powerful shield and a powerful weapon. Why destroy a weapon like that when you can contain it in a relic and keep it for yourself? A weapon is only an asset for as long as it isn't pointed at you. The means of Vlaakith's own end has been ripped away from her. Better to have Orpheus killed than to risk his escape. Better to risk the rise of illithids than let the Prince of the Comet deny her the godhood she craves. Orpheus is honor guard, loyal to the end. Trapped by Vlaakith in the same prism holding their noble prince, fruitlessly hacking at the sphere that contains him. They see us as Gyatt, tadpoled husks in the Emperor's thrall. I regret their deaths, but I pledge to live as they perished, in the service of Gith's son.
Very well. Patricide is often the first step toward greatness. But I hope Will does not regret sacrificing his infernal powers. I do not want a devil to hold my fate in his hands any more than a god. Aren't you tired of bowing and begging for scraps of power from your patron? I say we put the devil from our minds and trust in ourselves. If anyone should have the power of the crown, it should be us. He is the only authority figure in Baldur's Gate worth a damn. Even as the Elder Brain tears at the foundations of the city, he stands strong and looks for solutions. Better for us to be a solution rather than a problem for his steel watch to scrape off the street. It would be wise to return to him and pledge an oath of allegiance before he declares us enemies of the peace. He is rather fond of himself. If he truly intends to be the savior of Baldur's Gate, perhaps he has reason to be. Even if I personally faced down the army of the Absolute and drove it from the city single-handedly, I would not be welcomed as a savior. No matter what I do, the people of Baldur's Gate will always see me as an enemy. I do not want to be tolerated. I want to be feared. Don't you? When we have all three Netherstones and control the Elder Brain, all of Faerun will have reason to fear us. You have never visited? Nonsense. From the still, dark waters of Lake Donegarten to the black academies of Tierbresh, it is a city of wonders and terror. But it is not my home anymore. If I were to return, I would be denied all of its wonders and shown only the terror. I am a daughter of Menzoberranzan's most ancient and powerful house, the Bainray. I lived a life of privilege and danger. My home was at the tallest point of Cuel Arzol, the place of the nobles, a plateau high above the city's sprawl. I enjoyed every luxury, whether harvested in the Underdark or stolen from the surface, and I survived my first assassination attempt while I still suckled at my mother's breast. I tasted her blood that day. She covered my body with her own, and a blade bit deep into her chest, almost puncturing her heart. When I came of age, she tried to take my life herself, and I gave her fresh scars to match those she earned protecting me. I expect so. If the world were to end, I think my mother would survive to rule over the ruins. She taught me to be resilient and to guard my heart from those who cannot be trusted, literally and figuratively. When I choose to let somebody close, I do not do so lightly. That gives a great depth of meaning to the bonds I do share. I took up my oath long ago, when I swore bloody vengeance against any who defied Lolth. Now, I myself have sinned against the Spider Queen. Though my faith is shattered, my oath endures. I am sworn to destroy all those who serve the Absolute. When I have had my vengeance on the cult, I do not know if my oath will still hold. I do know that when I take the Absolute's power, I will not lose control of it as our enemies have. I will harness it to create a more perfect world. Any who object to the laws of that world will have no place in it, of course, and I will gladly eradicate them. A disparate collection of vagabonds and strays. Did you have anyone particular in mind? She is intelligent, strong, and capable as both a leader and a fighter. An impressive woman. It is a shame that she devotes all of her talents and experience to the futile cause of the Harpers. Their devotion to preserving balance is pathetic. That notion is a lie, amplified by the weak to preserve their feeble grip on the world. There are organizations like the Harpers in every realm and every culture. I despise all of them. Then speak. Very well.
I received a dispatch from the Grove. Life carries on there in our absence, just as nature intended. My chosen successor, Francesca, has proven to be a wise choice. Perhaps the wisest I ever made as Archdruid. The Shadow Druids. Their scheming was stopped, thanks to you. Yet their malign ideals can find purchase and live on, even after the instigators themselves are vanquished. Francesca has found some initiates still yearn for the false promises the Shadow Druids peddled. She has been working hard to show them the error of their ways. She is well suited to the task. Better than I, perhaps. To cleanse a land of shadows is one thing, but to sway a heart from a dark path is another matter entirely. I was all too eager to surrender my responsibilities towards the Grove. Perhaps I was never meant to be Archdruid, to be a leader. Still, though, I cannot help but wonder if there was more I could have done. Perhaps, Oakfather willing, I may yet have the chance someday. Forgive me. The Shadow Curse occupied me so entirely, and for so long, I almost missed the purpose it gave me. Now I must find a new one. I've been unfair to you. I've had unrealistic expectations of your character ever since I joined you. But honestly, you've surpassed even those. Seems my faith was more than well-founded.
Will sacrificed his own father. I hope freedom from the Pact is worth it to him.
Fine. What's on your mind?
How are you holding up? Don't be so modest. I can't remember the last time I met someone like you. Perhaps I never did. And never will again.
Gods, I spent 7 years choked by Mazora's leash. And I spent 7 years hoping to break free. I never knew freedom could taste so bittersweet. I have to believe that. I'm not the Hell's puppet in life, nor its warrior in death. The blade will be guiding his own hand. But freedom will be paid in my father's blood. Tomorrow, I celebrate my gain. Today, I mourn my loss.
A moment passes. In the stillness, you find a mote of tranquility.
The Raven Guard name now lives solely with me. I will make it count for something. I signed his life away before the Hell's witnesses. It would be easier to drink the Styx down to the last drop than to alter his fate. I'd be a fool to wish otherwise. We obtain the final 2 Netherstones and take back our minds, and the city, from the brain. Go on then.
Little Will's all grown up. I can't wait to see what trouble he gets into. Impossible. My bargain was uncommonly reasonable. A single soul for the return of Baldur's Gate's most beloved duke. A real bargain, I should think. I never thought the legendary Blade of Frontiers would surrender his father for freedom. Not very valorous, if you ask me. But what does a mean old devil like me know about heroes? The Absolutists worked a number on me at Moonrise. And you're the best hope I've got at payback. No one crosses the Hell's Children without getting scorched. Oh, you are an inquisitive one. I'd have thought you'd figured by now. Zariel found new use for an old battle axe. The Dead Three and that bulging brain of theirs are a threat to more than this trifling city, you know. Savor her company. Who's to say when Zariel might change her mind? My mistress can be so capricious. The 9 hells of Beator. Each its own domain, each with its own archdevil to rule it. I call the first hell my home, Avernus. My mistress Zariel's realm, a torrid battleground split by the bloody waters of the Styx. How I adore it, the delicious agony of it all. The other 8, well, they are pleasures unto themselves. Perhaps I'll show you myself, if I deem you worthy. Correct. I didn't. If you must know, I was scouting the cultists on behalf of Zariel. But those cursed shadows were thick enough to fell even a half-fiend. I woke in that damned pod. It kept my body sealed and my most powerful magic silenced. But a brave, kind, benevolent soul set me free. Gallantry isn't dead, after all. I'm afraid that's not an option. I'm quite stubborn, you see. Take a swing or a stab if you want, but I'll just slip away for a breather. One of the perks of being a half-devil, of course. Why? I'm supplying Will with every scrap of his infernal power.
I've paid my dues many times over. I tell you what, when the time comes to squish that big baddie of a brain, I'll lend you a hand.
Silent, still.
with my barley.
Look at you, just lying around, you furry chunkers. Disgraceful.
The cellars are just down the stairs. There, you'll find my old lodgings.
This is my time. Let my enemies fall.
Ready for another round?
There's a hidden door that leads further in. The mechanism to open it is somewhere among the wine racks.
not reaction.
No one back home will ever believe this.
On the other side, you'll find a passageway, known only to those invited to do business.
Something over there.
Been awakened. Vlaakith's forces are near.
Gyatt, Vlaakith has found us. Get rid of them, quickly!
In the meantime, tear every brick out if you have to. If it doesn't come, we must find evidence of its...
Lae'zel, glad you could join us. The Kithraki have spread word of that artifact that you carry. Tell me, Lae'zel of Kalir, what reward do you think the astral prism will fetch once I pluck it from your corpse and present it to Vlaakith? What honors, what riches will the Undying Queen grant me when I hand her the failed prince?
Stand down. I protect the prism on our queen's behalf.
The Undying Queen cares not for who delivers her the prism and the traitor prince within. All that matters is that it is delivered. The false heir's head will make a fine trophy for Vlaakith. As for you, I will leave nothing behind but meat and shattered bone. Damnable whelp. For 1,000 years I have given my life to Vlaakith. And you, Lae'zel, a child, an unascended, would snatch my glory for herself. You may keep your head. But I will yet be exalted. I will yet see my name carved in slate. Vlaakithka sivim hrath krashet.
Vlaakith is relentless. You handled it well. Let us hope she exhausts her forces soon. Now search the room. There's a statue that conceals the way through. I'll reveal it to you.
Action! Best get going. Better not be cursed. What's that?
That might be worth a look.
My old home. Thank you for bringing me back. Look around. You'll find some of my things still intact. Perhaps even useful. A keepsake from my final voyage. Pinched in a moment of sentimentality. My old wardrobe. The home of all my disguises. We are what we appear to be, and so appearances matter.
That might be worth a look.
The chains I use to bind my meals. Villains and lawbreakers. You see, I tried to exercise morality where I could. Rascal's collar. My poor four-legged friend. Their lives are so brief, so simple, and yet full. A recipe for fiddlehead soup. A favorite meal of mine. When I had need of meals like that. My old sword. My first purchase as an adventurer. No use to me anymore. It's yours, if you want it. My cutlery set. A gift from my mother. The butter knife is missing, but otherwise it looks to be complete. I don't need it anymore, but the memory stirs something in me still.
No, you can't be here. It's not safe. She has my scent. Run. Do not stop until you feel sunlight and fresh air. This is no threat. This is a certainty. Orin is coming. She tormented me with blades and hot irons. I resisted. But then she forced me to drink a foul brew. The rabid, cursed blood of all manner of beasts. I lost control. I felt the bear take over. Blood crazed. And she forced me into a cage. Along with children taken from the streets. I was powerless to stop myself. Their screams, her laughter, it's all I can hear. I do not deserve to see the sun again. She's too strong. You have to turn around. Go. Let me buy you some time. She's coming for you. Then you are an even dumber beast than your druid friend.
Look at it. Father's favorite, all lost and wandering. Have you forgotten the way home? Should I set your lapdog to screaming? That could help you find the way. Better to be dull and brittle. A mind-mangled beast. No talent, no beauty in your atrocities. A blunt blade like you is not fit to carve Baal's glory. Thick-headed and foolish to let the Baneites' heirs corrupt you. Gortash betrays us, bloodkin. He sets a leash to our slaughter, uses us to drive the herd towards his tin men's oppression. You must kill the tyrant, smear him across his rock-rotten halls, and pluck the netherstone from his carcass. Then we duel, sweet slaughterkin. The winner claims the stones, Baal's true chosen. The loser rots on his altar. Agree, and I will bring my assassins to heal. They watch you always, longing to spray the crimson from your veins. Refuse me, and you'll learn what happens to those who defy Baal's doctrine. So will your friend.
So, this was Orin's intention. A combat against a fellow scion of Baal, witnessed by the Lord of Murder himself. Accept, and you must kill Gortash. Refuse, and your companion's life may be forfeit, as might your own. Orin's assassins will hunt you like prey for slaughter.
That festering inadequate bound my blades when we first conspired. His crimson is not mine to spill. It must be you. Do not underestimate his steel watch. Seek their cradle in the lower city and skewer their skull meat. Make them rust and blood. Then you can gore the lordling again and again and again. But listen close, Bone Killer. Come to my temple before you turn Gortash to carrion, and I will ready your friend's corpse to greet you. Baal is waiting, slaughterkin. Do not disappoint him.
trouble now.
In our midst.
Should get started.
Oh, I could go for a good meal.
Look what we have here.
Fury. I am death. My path be true.
What now?
Victory awaits. All right, Karlak, it's go time.
chance. Is that blood? No, never mind.
To the opposite.
Can't even browse
Through the river.
clients. Maybe. I don't know how closely they watch us. But there's probably grates and things down there to keep